The most important thing, I'm gonna tell you the most important thing. You have to really, 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 really believe in yourself. I don't give a fuck if a nigga thinks you're trash. I don't care about none of that. You have to really believe in yourself. I was not always the most confident person, but now I really believe I can do anything if I set my mind to it. Not believe, I know I can. I really believe I can do anything. Bro, you gotta really have that confidence. If you want to get there, you do. Otherwise, you not gonna do it. You gonna have to be willing to make sacrifices. You gotta basically put your line on this shit. Now, it comes to some people easier than others. You gotta really be able to put your line on this shit and really put your all into this shit. I promise you, like, nigga, I was willing to give up everything. I basically gave up my whole last summer. I didn't leave the house. I sat in the house all day, not even making vids. Cause at that point, I was going through a lot of shit. I sat in my house all day, just trying to think of ideas. How the fuck I'm gonna make it? How am I gonna make it? I had no idea. Nigga, right at that point, I was sitting at like 2,000 followers on 2,000 subs on Twitch, 1,000 on followers on Twitch, 2,000 on YouTube. Nigga, I didn't know. I was just posting shit, trying to figure shit out. Nigga, I'm telling you, this shit did not click until like last year. No, until the start of this year, like January. That's when I figured out my vision.
I believe when God builds a man, he puts him through difficult things. Because if you were to have a child today, all right, you got a son, and you want that son to have specific traits. Let's say honesty, patience, for example. Would you give him what he wants right away all the time? No, right? So when God builds a man for a big purpose, I believe that this man has to undergo a season of conditioning. And this conditioning is productive. This conditioning is divinely gifted. And this conditioning should be embraced and somewhat romanticized. And it should be maximized. And whenever things get hard, things get difficult, and you experience levels of uncertainty and discomfort and pain, I believe it's important to really feel it, to think about it, to prolong it in a way, and to enjoy it. Because I've learned from my experience, whenever you move out of that stage where God put you through pain in order to teach you a lesson, you look back with so much gratitude, knowing that you came out of it learning this lesson, and acquiring this skill, and acquiring this ability or whatever. And it's nice knowing that God is just preparing you. He's preparing you for something greater. And that understanding is where you...
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit what anybody says or what anybody thinks. I have this mindset. I know exactly who the fuck I am.
What people say does not matter to me, because whatever you do in life, good or bad, there's always going to be somebody.
If you're doing good, they got something to say. If you're doing bad, they got something to say.
I just can't live my life based upon what other people think about me. So I can't concern myself too much with what other people think. You know, it's just not healthy.
I had to stop giving a fuck about people. That was the biggest thing. I had to stop caring what people thought about me.
I don't give a shit what people say. I never did, I never do.
You better figure out who the fuck you are. And those few people many people don't like you, so...
Time alone makes you see, first of all, who God is. Some people fight being alone. They fight being alone. They fight being single. They don't enjoy it. They just anything, just invite anybody over. You invite people over you don't even like. Just come on over, girl, come on over. Let's just hang out, because you're afraid of being alone and you're avoid of thinking. Time alone is important. Time alone gives you, first of all, God discovery. You begin to understand who God is. You cannot understand who God is in a crowd. And Jacob was left alone with God, and God called Abraham alone, and Moses went to the backside of the mountain and was alone. It's always when you're alone when God reveals himself. God didn't show himself to the Virgin Mary while she was in the crowd. She was by herself. Whenever anything significantly happens to you in a spiritual capacity, it happens.
There's not a whole lot of dudes that are taking accountability. You know, I fucked up bad, like crash and burn type shit, hurt a lot of people. This is kind of part of being a man. It's like, you kind of gotta fuck it all up a little bit.
I think so.
I think part of learning is dying. I think part of learning is you gotta die a little bit. Because what is learning? Learning is me giving up on my old shit, my old ideas. Those ideas have to die for me to be open to some new shit. And so me learning how to be a better man, I had to die a little bit. When do you become a man? When you get a driver's license? Like, what do we do? You 16, we give you a driver's license. Okay, well, like, you get a job? Like, when do you become a man? I grew up in a culture that told me going to war made you a man. Going to
Get
prison
locked
and
up.
coming back makes you a man. Making $1 million makes you a man, you know? And it doesn't. You become a man when you become responsible for other people. And part of that is taking account.
But if there's one message I want you to walk away with today, it's this. You have to disappear.
It's okay to be alone for a while. I feel like nobody really talks about that stage, that period of time where you just disappear for a bit. Not because you hate people, but because you're finally choosing yourself. That period of isolation, it's not loneliness, it's growth.
Disappearing means doing the work. It means doing the work in the dark. It means building in private what you don't need to prove in public.
It's where you start realizing who you are without the noise, without the validation, or without trying to fit into someone else's image of you. It's uncomfortable at first, yeah. You question yourself and you overthink and you're anxious all the time. But slowly things start to make sense. You start hearing your own voice again and you start healing parts of you that you didn't even know were broken.
It means doing the work when no one's watching. You stop worrying about what people think and start valuing what you believe. Because a life that looks good or sounds good is nothing compared to a life that feels good.
Something in you has to wake up. And usually the only person that can wake it up is you. Sometimes you can read a David Goggins book because I was all this shit and then a lot more of fucked up. But if you don't have a little flame, you know, just barely, you're done. I can't light it for you. And that's the harsh reality of this life that I want to get across so fucking bad. You can watch me, you can watch you, you can watch fucking Rogan and Cameron Haynes, all these motherfuckers. You can go to Tony Robbins' fucking bullshit, all this shit. You do all this shit. If you could keep going back and keep spending money and spending money and spending money with no results, you can wonder, wow, maybe let me go try out David Goggins. He ain't gonna fucking help you. You have to explore, examine the insides of yourself. And what do you really want out of life?
You think you gotta be perfect to keep the people you love in your life. But D, that's not true. Family don't run from mistakes. And we don't judge people by their flaws. We just love people for who they are. But it is up to you to trust people with the real you. I'm trying. Dude, I swear I'm trying. I just feel like it's too late. What if it's too late? It's never too late. Never. Your family's still here. You just gotta stop running, D. Because I'm gonna tell you like this. That's the last thing she'd wanted.
There's a video that I 100% legitimately play in my mind when I'm tired. I say good. Listen to this video. Have you ever heard this? It's amazing.
I don't think I have.
He would call me up or pull me aside with some major problem, some issue that was going on. And he'd say, boss, we got this and that and the other thing. And I'd look at him and I'd say, good. And finally one day he was telling me about some issue that he was having, some problem. And he said, I already know what you're going to say. And I said, well, what am I going to say? He said, you're going to say good. He said, that's what you always say. When something is wrong and going bad, you always just look at me and say, good. And I said, well, yeah. When things are going bad, there's going to be some good that's going to come from it. Didn't get the new high-speed gear we wanted? Good. Didn't get promoted? Good. More time to get better. Oh, mission got canceled? Good, we can focus on another one. Didn't get funded. Didn't get the job you wanted. Got injured. Sprained my ankle. Got tapped out? Good. Got beat? Good. You learned. Unexpected problems? Good. We have the opportunity to figure out a solution.